kind of a different video because I'm actually gonna be doing this like story time video. I've been wanting to do like a story time type of video for a really long time, and some of my friends already done it, like Blue, MC King, and yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a while, and today I'm finally gonna do it. And yeah, it's basically the time I went to the principal's office. Well, technically he was the assistant principal, but basically the same thing. And yeah, I'm actually gonna be doing a live commentary and trying to tell the story at the time. Yeah, it's gonna be I'm gonna be commentating live and telling the story. So I'm not really used to talking and playing at the same time. So let's just see how it goes. I probably won't do too good, and yeah. By the way, I'm gonna be going for headshots with my Kuda because I'm trying to get it gold, and also I got my Vesper gold, like on Saturday. And yeah, so let's get into a game, hardcore domination, and yeah, and then let's just start the story. Let me just vote for. I always play on Combine, so I'm gonna go for Fringe. And wait, I'm just gonna go into a game like. So I just wanted to directly take me to a game. All right, here we go. So yeah, we're playing on Exodus, and basically this is the time that I went to the principal's office. So like I guess I'm a pretty good student. Yeah, I actually am a pretty good student. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but yeah, I am in an honors class. And yeah, so I usually don't get in trouble too much, and if I do, it's usually not as bad as what happened to me last year in 6th grade. And yeah, so we were basically in social studies. Yeah, we were in social studies, and with my friends. I was sitting with my friends with my teacher. I was sitting with my friends, and my teacher was, what teachers do, teaching, obviously. And we were actually in social studies, and she was just basically telling us that we had to do an activity involving markers. I don't exactly remember the activity, but I know it involved markers. And yeah, so the lesson was pretty boring, and like once we got the markers and stuff and we started working on it, and for some reason I just decided to get a Sharpie. And if you guys didn't know, in my school Sharpies are actually banned. And what is this camper doing? Is that I'm pretty sure that's a camper. And yeah, Sharpies are actually banned in my school because they don't want, like, since it's permanent, they don't want us kids, vandalizing, even though most of us wouldn't vandalize, but there's always those kids that ruin it all, and I'm doing horrible. But yeah, I don't even know how it's gonna be. I'm probably gonna do pretty bad. I'm not used to this. And wait, wow, there's actually a little bit of people. And yeah, so I just decided for some reason, now that I look back at it, it was really dumb what I did, but yeah. So I took a Sharpie from my friend, and I started drawing like a little mustache, right, on my face. Like, since I was so bored, I was like, oh, let me just draw a little mustache on my face. And I didn't think of the consequences at that time. I wasn't thinking of the consequences. And yeah, basically, I drew like a little bit of a mustache on my face with the marker, and then I saw them. Then I showed my friends, and they were laughing and all. And then I started like drawing even more of a mustache. Now it looked more like a beard now. And then just to top it off, I drew a unibrow. It was a blue Sharpie, I remember. Yeah. And then my friend started cracking up, and then and then it turned the boring lesson turned into, like, it turned a little bit funner after that. But then I actually didn't think if my teacher would see. I didn't think she would get so mad. But it turns out when she found out, and then she actually got really mad at me, and she was like, what teachers do, they yell at you, and they're like, whoa, why'd you do that? And I was like, oh, and I just accidentally killed my teammate. Sorry about that, teammate. And yeah, so she basically got mad at me, and I was like, oh, all right, she got mad at me. There's nothing worse could happen. And then she told me, you know what? This is what she said. Like, go write yourself a pass, because in my school we have to, if you want to like exit the room and like travel, to another other places, you have to get a pass during school, like class time. And yeah, during when classes are going on, we have to if we want to leave the room, we have to have a pass. And she says, go write yourself a pass to the vice principal's office, and after that, go to the bathroom and wash that out. And then I was like, that's when I officially started getting nervous, and I was worried because it was actually my first year in middle school, and I was like, I'd never gone to the principal's office in middle school, and so I didn't know what to expect. And yeah, so I basically, when I was like, I took my time. I was in no rush. To of getting to the principal's office, of getting to the vice principal's office. And I'm like, oh my god. And then I finally entered it, and there, like, some teacher wasn't there. And then I showed the teacher first, and he was like, oh, he was shocked. And actually the vice principal wasn't there yet. So then when the vice principal came into his office, I wasn't looking at him. My back was turned to him, and then he told me to turn around, and then I showed him the mustache, and it was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. I don't even know why I did that, but he was like, why'd you do this? Like, he wasn't even mad. Like, he was just like, he was basically laughing at me. Not in a way, was laughing at me, but laughing at me in a serious way, if that makes sense. Not really, but and he basically gave me a lecture, and then he asked me like what class I was, and I was like, I'm in 691. That was my class. And if in my school, if you're so 6 stands for 6th grade, and if your class is like in the 90s are up, that means you're an honor class. And I said that, and then he was like, oh, why are you doing this? You are in 691. This is one of the smartest 6th grade classes. You should be setting an example for other kids, and blah blah blah. And yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. And then he told me to call my parents, and it was actually I had to call my own parents and tell them. But he had some complicated, like, old school phone. What was really embarrassing is I didn't know how to use it. For some reason, I didn't know how to use it. It was like, because it was so old. I'm young, and I didn't even know how to use that thing. And then he actually had to help me do that. He had to tell me what to do, and that just added to my humiliation. And yeah, then I started calling. I did not want to call my parents. And thankfully, my parents did not answer. For some reason, then the machine just popped up that says like, you have called 911 blah blah blah, the number. And they came to them. I was like, oh, thank God, they're not answering. And I told the principal that, and he was like, oh, okay. And then some teachers came in. Some random teachers came in, and then they came, and they were like, oh, what? They saw me, and they were like, oh my, what is this kid doing? And then he said, and then my principal basically said, oh, this kid is in 691, one of the smartest in one of the smartest 6th grade classes in the school, blah blah blah. And they were like, oh my God. And then the teachers were basically laughing at me, lecturing me, like saying, oh, we might have to take you out of the honors class because there's some better kids that have better potential than you, and they could be smarter than you, and they probably deserve they probably deserve to be in this class more than you ever will. And they basically said that, and it was pretty rude, but I don't know, and I don't care. That's why when I see those teachers, like, I ignore them. And I actually have one of those teachers in one of my classes now, but I don't even think she remembers it. And yeah, and I'm doing really bad. I'm sorry about this. I'm not really used to this. I'm just really focusing on the story. And yeah, so then he basically started lecturing me and stuff. And then some kid came in, like an 8th grader. He actually had a real mustache. And then since my principal is actually kind of like, a jokester, he was like, oh, I forgot his name. He was like, oh kid, look at me. Look at this kid, which the other kid was me. And he was like, oh, you have real facial hair. And this kid doesn't have real facial hair. And I was like, I don't even know what the joke was, but it was just like something. It was something along those lines. And then the kid started laughing at me, and he was like, oh bro, this is real facial hair. And then he showed me his mustache, which I really didn't want to see. And yeah, it's pretty embarrassing now that I look back to it. And then what I had a tactic. Basically had a tactic. So I would just try to I put my head down, trying to look all ashamed, so he would actually let me go. Like, cause I was nervous. So I just wanted to leave that room like as soon as possible. So what I did was like I put my head down. I was like, I tried to look. I wanted him to have pity. I wanted him to have mercy. So like I put my head down. I was like acting all sad and all. And then he basically kept on talking to me, and he was like, all right, you're free to go. And I was so happy, and because he didn't call my parents. He didn't tell my parents, like, even though he was gonna force me to call my parents, it didn't work. But then after that, he didn't even do an effort to call them. Then I was like, oh, he let me go. Oh, thank God. And my parents didn't know. And I was like, and when I left that room, I was so happy. I was like, oh yes, my parents don't know about this. And I didn't even get too much in trouble. I didn't even get in trouble. There was basically no consequence. He just gave me like a lecture. I had to go through some humiliation, but in the end, I was safe. No, my parents didn't know, and I was happy. And yeah, that's basically the end of the story there. I actually learned a valuable lesson. Never try to do dumb stuff when you're not supposed to. Yeah, cause I was so nervous, and after that, I try not to joke around as much as I did before in class. I'm now just trying to be serious as much as I can. Try not to be dumb. I'm trying to focus on school and school only. No joking around. No messing around. Maybe there's an occasional joke and all, but I'm not doing anything dumb anymore. And yeah, that's about the end of this video. And yeah, I bet 12 and 21, but yeah, that's not really that important. I usually don't do this bad, but I just did this. I was mainly focusing on telling the story. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you guys did enjoy, please smack that like button. Let's go for 3 likes if you want to see more videos like this, because I have tons of other stories. And yeah, guys, this is gonna be it for this video. Peace out.